to where we're seeing some heat alerts at this point. So here's our heat advisory graphic, and we'll take that graphic full so you can see everything. Thank you, Erica. What we're looking at right now is a heat advisory that's in effect from the North Carolina-Virginia border all the way north, excluding the eastern shore. Now, for places like Hampton Roads to even have places like a heat advisory, you have to have some of those temperatures really, really hot. And as you can see, with the high heat that we're seeing here in Hampton Roads, it's all connected. There's a really big dome of high pressure over parts of the Northeast, and we're kind of clipped by that. And so you're seeing excessive heat warnings in places like New York and New Jersey and parts of the Great Lakes, with a lot of heat advisories spread out from Virginia through parts of the Great Lakes, even into some places like southern New York, and as you get into parts of Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and parts of the Great Lakes, we are seeing some excessive heat warnings. That's the highest thing you can go about when it comes to hot weather alerts. So let's talk a little bit more about hot weather alerts. One, here in Hampton Roads, to get a heat advisory, you do need to have the potential of seeing feels like temperatures of about 105 degrees at least for 3 hours. Now, some places will see that 105 degree mark. Other places may be right between that 100 to 105. Now, for an excessive heat warning, feels like temperatures or heat indices have to be 110 at least for 3 hours. So that's your really, really hot weather. Good news is I'm not expecting any temperatures, feels like temperatures to reach that 110 mark, but I would not be surprised if this heat advisory is going to roll into parts of your Sunday, even parts of Monday, where we could still see some feels like temperatures in the triple digits. Now, the reason why we issued that weather alert day is because the Weather Service out in Wakefield, Virginia, issued us a heat advisory. We're not going to just go willy-nilly and just declare every hot day a weather alert day. That doesn't make sense, right? We're in the middle of summer. Of course, there are going to be hot days. There's a difference between regular hot summer days and dangerous hot summer days, right? And this is one of those days where it can be dangerously hot. Always remember that when you're out and about, to take frequent breaks. If you're going out anytime soon, you wear your lightest colored clothing and you drink plenty of water. Now, that heat advisory went into effect at 11 a.m. That's until effect until 8 p.m. So let's walk you through some of your temperatures you'll see throughout the rest of your day. So right now, actually, I'm going to go back to my regular temperatures that we're seeing at the moment, because even when I walked outside to take a little break and came back inside, you can tell how hot it is already. So right now, even before we hit the noon hour, we're talking upper 80s, low 90s, 90 now in Williamsburg, 90 in West Point and Tappahannock, 89 in Norfolk, 85 in Eatonton, and 85 now in Ahoskie. So let's go back down to that futurecast where you're going to start to see how temperatures continue to rise, and then we also add on that humidity, and it feels so much hotter. So throughout the day, we'll continue with that south wind pulling in that warm air. So by about 5 o'clock, one of the hottest parts of the day, places around the area will be easily in those lower to middle 90s. The further north and inland you live, you could be scraping those upper 90s. Even notice where Richmond is, some upper 90s. 97 is a forecast high from this futurecast graphic for the Richmond metro area. So that's a lot of heat at one time. Heading into tonight, though, just like last night, very warm, very humid. So if you're heading out and about, I would say to maybe wait until about 6, 7 o'clock if you can wait that long to maybe have your dinner plans, just because the heat is really going to start to taper off later tonight once we lose the sun, of course. But it's just going to be a really hot day. So let's talk about those feels like temperatures throughout the next few hours. By about 3 p.m., we're going to start feeling like the triple digits, feeling more like 104 in Chesapeake, 105 in Ahoskie, and 101 as you get into places like Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and West Point. So definitely some dangerous heat out there. Again, we're going to continue to see some of that heat really starting to fade as we get after sunset, right? But even by 8 p.m., that heat is still holding on, still feeling like the triple digits in Newport News by 8 p.m. So if you're out and about today, soak in the sunshine, wear that sunscreen, but if you feel like your body is getting a little tired from the heat, it's always okay to make sure you go inside and take a breather. Here's your weekend preview. So I will say, not much is going to change between today and tomorrow except for the rain chances. Rain will be very hard to come by today, if at all. Temperatures will rise to the middle 90s by the afternoon. Now, mostly sunny skies. It feels like temperatures in those triple digits. Tomorrow, we start to introduce slightly higher rain chances, but that's really mainly right around 8 p.m. and after, ahead of an approaching cold front. So for us, we're talking middle 90s. Once again, some places could reach the upper 90s, even some models. The National Weather Service is going with 98 for the high tomorrow in Norfolk. So these could be even underperforming at this point. Norfolk has a very usual pattern to where we'll have these forecasts and then the south winds really overperform. And remember, whenever I always talk about south winds, winds are super important in a forecast. South winds pull in really warm air. So if they overperform, temperatures could be even higher. So I'm going with 96. Hunter may adjust it up a little bit as we get into tonight with his forecast, which is fine, but we should be somewhere in those middle to upper 90s across the area, partly cloudy, and those chances for evening thunderstorms. But we do have this new heat risk potential map, and this kind of shows you how hot it could be and where our risk lies with the general public. So major heat risk for today that will expand basically to all of Hampton Roads as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Even some places near DC and Northern Virginia in that extreme risk where they're expecting actual air temperatures to be in those low 100s. So really, really hot stuff. So for Sunday and Monday, we're talking low 100s for feels like temperatures. But look at Tuesday. What a relief. We finally get some relief in the forecast for Tuesday, even if it's brief. I think a lot of us will enjoy the fact that we can even get some cooler temperatures in there for a little bit before going right back up to feels like temperatures in those 90s, upper 90s for Wednesday and Thursday. Now, the reason why we'll see some of that cool down and a brief break from the high heat is because we have a cold front on the horizon. So ahead of a cold front, you get really warm, moist air. Behind the cold front, you get drier, cooler air. So still on Monday, even as that cold front is passing, we still may see some feels like temperatures in the low 100s because of that draw of warm air from the south ahead of that front. So let's take you through a few hours of futurecast through your Monday. We're going to start off mainly dry Monday morning as you're heading into work. It's really around like noon to 1 p.m. where a few showers and thunderstorms will get going. Temperatures by that time will be in the middle to upper 80s, even some lower 90s still possible just behind that front right around 3:45 to 4 p.m. The other thing is it seems like the activity with these showers and thunderstorms will really blossom and boom once it reaches a cold front itself reaches northeast North Carolina. As you see, a lot of showers and thunderstorms possible then, but also some relief. One, because rain helps cool the air, but two, we're starting to see some low-end stages of drought. So we definitely need the rain here in Hampton Roads. We're running well behind for what we should be as we get into the rest of your June. Now, for the rest of your Monday, we are talking about 8 p.m., maybe a lingering shower near the Outer Banks, the Albemarle Sound, before we completely dry out for your Tuesday. But those north winds will pull in that cooler, drier air that will help us feel just a little bit cooler, even again, if it's just for 24 hours. So for us, again, we are underneath that heat advisory. That heat advisory is now in effect. It runs from 11 a.m., so it started basically about 36 minutes ago, all the way until 8 p.m. today. So we have 9 hours of high heat potential. And the heat advisory, again, is for the potential to see feels like temperatures around the area 105 around that kind of vicinity. This does not mean that places around the country may not see 105, but their threshold for a heat advisory is much different than ours. It changes, especially the further north or south you go. When you get closer to places like Maine and parts of Massachusetts, their heat advisory criteria is right around 95 degrees and for feels like temperatures. And you're probably like, whoa, that's like really cool. But for them, it's actually really warm. In some places in the Northeast and basically north parts of the United States, they don't have air conditioning. So let's be grateful that we do have a little bit of AC. But heat alerts stretched all the way out through parts of Southeast Virginia, all the way up into the parts of the Northeast and the parts of the Midwest. So again, high heat alert for today, and we are issuing a weather alert day for today heading into the weekend. We're going to keep it for Monday just in case we do see that potential for that high heat once again right ahead of that cold front. The good news is as we get into that cold front and we really get the effects of that front, we'll start to see a little bit of relief. So today, 95 high heat. Tomorrow, 96 high heat. The potential for afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Monday, still with the high heat, low 90s with thunderstorms as that cold front rolls through. But then we'll dry out, cool down briefly on Tuesday before we go right back into those lower to middle 90s on Wednesday. And then we'll introduce more opportunities for much needed rain heading into your Thursday and your Friday. So if you're going to be out and about today, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Drink plenty of water. Find some AC sometimes. Find some shade. Make sure you do not leave anybody or any pets in the car by themselves, locked away. It gets really hot. And if you have your pets outside, make sure they have protective shoes as they're walking on that really hot pavement. Those temperatures can be sweltering at times up to like 140 degrees. So just make sure you're protecting everybody and yourself in this high heat. We'll have more on this high heat potential heading with Hunter force tonight, right around 6 p.m. We'll see you then.